Hello and welcome back to another All Nation video. This time we're going to talk about whether or not All Nation axles and wheel sets will fit into a P&D Blomberg truck. And the answer is yes. We found that installing a set of axles with wheels into a truck just for a non-powered version, that our axles fit into the journals perfectly. Although 3 of the journals worked fine out of the 4, and the 4th one needed to be kind of deburred or polished a little bit. And once we did that, they rolled really freely. So there was very little to do in terms of installing. The axle lengths were perfect, and if anybody wants to implement the All Nation drives, we have another truck with our drive unit or transmission unit installed. This does not show the tower drive, but in order to make this work in a P&D truck, what you have to do is make a slight modification. So let's look back at the truck that just has a wheel set with no power. You'll notice that this structure on here, which is what I would call the saddle to the bolster, is on this side and the other side. In order for your drive shafts to go through and under this, all you need to do is flip this upside down. And that's what we did on this one, and put the screws back in. And there's plenty of clearance between the axles for your drive shaft. Now, the other configuration, of course, is using our tower drive, say, in this position. And you don't necessarily need the extension on this transmission unless your intention is to have a drive shaft power the other truck in this configuration. The clearance on these trucks is such that they don't work in an All Nation F3, F7 engine body. These particular trucks are just slightly wider, not by much, and a little bit longer, and the clearance is such that on curves this truck probably will not work. However, we do plan to possibly use this truck on our GP40 kits once we implement the interface between the truck and the power platform. So typically on our F3, F7s, we would have our platform situated like this, which is our floor or frame, and our distances for our tower drive on this end here would be very close, because we use a brass pin with a clip, and our drive shafts would be with motors that are mounted on top of this platform. For example, we'll show you one where this is the case. So this particular configuration, the motor shaft is in line pretty much with the tower drive, so you could connect it with universal joints and have good performance in terms of going around tight curves. The other configuration, of course, is not to go with the tower drive, but to go with our motor, which is situated in the fuel tank. And as you can see, the motor shaft is in line with the shaft coming off the transmission, and simply all we would need is one, maybe two universal joints to facilitate the truck on the curves, and you would have a single powered unit. So with adaptive additive capabilities in 3D printing, we can come up with quite a number of different configurations as far as motor mounts and positioning, single shaft, double shaft, and we will be pursuing that in more detail later on. But we did want to mention that this would be another option if the modeler so desires to implement all-nation transmissions and drive units in a P&D Blomberg truck.